Welcome back, Smart Start Radio family. Before we get into our latest amazing episode, we have a quick word from our sponsor. With spectacular hotels, amazing theme parks, and unparalleled entertainment, Universal Orlando Resort offers a meeting destination unlike anything else in the world.
Smart Start Radio, Smart Start Radio. Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. At Smart Start Radio, Smart Start Radio. Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. Starting smart is the action we design. Meeting other minds, how to better use our time. Leading, interceding, proceeding, they divine. It's believing, they conceding, so it goes on.
Welcome back to Smart Start Radio. I am your host, Yiming Piansai, and today I am with Sean Pierce, president of MCI, with the metrics meeting planners should be tracking, the opportunities many events miss, and how attendee data can turn a one-time event into a long-term strategy. Hello, Sean. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Of course. So, as someone who is not great with data and numbers, I would love to know all the ins and outs of how an event can be made better or improved by having a better sense of the data, I guess, you get out of an event. So just to kind of kick things off, in your opinion, why is it essential to look at that for your event?
Well, thank you for that. First off, events are primarily driven by the data. It's goodwill that you have in your community. Either you're an association, you're a corporation, or something that creates that goodwill that people believe in you. And the database of who are the people that could be possibly coming to this, who are the companies, who are they at? And then, you gather all the information you need at an event through your registration process or your membership association management systems. And then you should be utilizing that in a very strategic way to grow the right type of audience. Remember, events aren't just about having bodies in a room.
Right.
I could put 1,000 people in a room by just offering some freebie on the street and they're going to jump in the room. But they've got to be the right people, right? The right people for either the education you're giving, the right people for who you're selling to as sponsors or exhibitors, if you have that. And without being able to prove that you have the right people at your event, you're not going to be able to get that financial commitment that you're looking for to support your event, either through the sponsors, exhibitors, or the things. The same thing holds true for the data that you have on your speaker sets and your topics, your content topics. Being able to demonstrate that content is truly important to me and my own needs in my business is important for me to then decide if I'm coming to the event. And how has that changed over the time? Well, we've always collected data for a long time. I teasingly sometimes say when I go to a large new potential client, I say, talk about all the things you're going to do in registration. It gets really complicated. And I said, at the end of the day, if you're not going to use all this data, why bother? Why would you put an individual through the various machinations to register when the reality is you're not using all that data? Why don't you just tell them to come on and hand them a sticker that says, hello, my name is, and pay me $50. They'll pay you.
Right. Yeah.
Now, you have to realize that you're inviting someone as your guest into your event or into your space, and they want to be treated like a guest. So they want to be treated as if you know them, as you care about them, that you have something for them. And that data is that critical element to allow for that to emanate in a real way. And so I think that now we're getting great tools that allow us to use that data faster with new technological advances in AI and so forth. But at the core, we have to know our audience, and having that data allows us to prove that the audience is the right audience and the right content for the right sponsors, the right time, so forth and so on.
Right. So at the start of an event, what are some of the top aspects of data that they should be looking at initially in that process?
So they're going to have an event, start an event perhaps, or they're going to evaluate whether an event should be created. So there are a lot of large events in the marketplace, let's say, that are broad-based, they're general. And so somebody might say, well, look, my members or my niche is this one little small subset of that larger event. And I want to bring that small subset to a more curated, specific to them type of event. And so understanding that data that's in the larger event and then going in and calling it or going cultivating that data and saying, well, wait, these 1,000 people fit these criteria that I really like at my event, but now they want to get more content specific to them, or something's changing in the marketplace. For example, you have, when anything changes in a large market right now, oil and gas prices, it's on everybody's mind. And so what is that doing to an organization that is a transportation company? Well, if I'm the procurement group in transportation that moves a lot of freight around, well, I need to have a conversation real quick about this. Are we going to, pre-buy down the price today? We're going to wait it out. It's going to go down tomorrow. Or are we going to go do wholesaling? Let's have a topic about that. Well, there might only be 300 people in the country that are super high-end buyers of transportation, oil and gas, fuel stocks, and they need to get together today about that topic. So understand that data, being able to go and mine that data and bring together the right audience at the right time with the right message and content makes an event happen. That's what makes an event beautiful, makes an event happen in a way in which provides the value. In today's environment too, most individuals are either working from home or have the opportunity to work from home some part of their time. Now in an event, we're having to convince them to leave their home. You're going to leave your house, get in a suitcase full of stuff, get on a plane, go stand in the TSA line, get to a hotel, check in, go up there, go da. We got to provide better ROI to them. We're going to have to communicate with them better on the front end as to why it's important to them, important to their career, important to their business, to do all those things to come to this event. That's where the data comes in. Knowing that audience in a much deeper way really helps to push that opportunity for ROI. And then post-event, referring to all that information they got, synchronizing it up for them, giving them tangible assets they can take back and utilize in their business going forward. Really important. It's not just how to start it up, it's how to activate it on site, get the right content, right people, everything else, and then posting it, giving them great recaps and data sets that allow them to understand the value they consumed during the multi-days they were at this event.
Right. So as someone who's very visual, I like examples of things. So when you're going through this information, is there an example you can give to like best explain how to take this information and make it a visceral experience at the event itself? Like how are people using that information to actually make the event itself more interesting?
Sure. Take, for example, that most people when they're going to go to an event almost emphatically will contact one or two of their friends or colleagues or people in that same industry, say, are you going? That number one thing, pick up the phone and go, or pick up your email, are you going? Or your text, if you know them that well, are you going? Well, shouldn't we as an organizer help with that process right off the bat? If you provided, say, your LinkedIn profile information, and I used that and said, well, Sammy is coming to this event, and Emmy's got 5 first-level contacts that are also coming to this event. I'll let Emmy know that, hey, you got 5 of your top, your number one contacts coming in, first-level contacts, also coming to this event. And as a matter of fact, 2 of them are taking this session, and they're all signed up for this party. Well, you're going to immediately sign up for that session and that party because those are your people. You know them in some way, enough better than random people in the room. And then allowing for that to then two-step in. Of those people, here's a broader group that are going to be at this event that are their number one connections that aren't yours, that are also in your same line of business, because now it can crawl their companies, look and see what those companies do that are related to what your company does, and provide that level for matching. I think, for a good example, on site, instead of just giving people networking time, which was always the case. You break, you say, hey, we got 35 minutes or 40 minutes for networking time, coffee break. And they just push everybody out in the hallway. Everybody starts talking with each other. They wander around a bit. You try to find your tribe. You walk out with who you were sitting next to. You didn't really get a chance to meet a lot of other people because unless you're just an active, social butterfly, which a lot of people are, but it's our job to make it easier on them. So instead of just saying, hey, coffee breaks out in the hallway, say, hey, we got 3 coffee breaks today. One of them is focused on podcasting. One of them is focused on transportation, fuel, and gas. And the other one over here is focused on government actions that are happening today that are affecting our business line. Pick which one of those you think is best for you and go to it, right? Now I'm in a room. I have a rough topic to talk about. And everybody in that room wants to talk about that topic. So now we're not just talking about, hey, how your kids, what's going on in your life, how you been, you sick, you're better, looking good, yada, yada. I'm now talking about that topic that the organizer kind of helped push out there and then put people in that room with them that are volunteer help for that topic that are helping to kind of push conversations along or connecting groups together and that sort of thing. So you're trying to take broad-based information, utilize the tools that we have in AI and other things to go and crawl more data about their companies and their services, and then give opportunities on site for them to then have interactions that are more natural than they are forced.
Okay. Can you kind of speak on more on how this and AI kind of overlap, or is there like how does that work? Because I feel like, we're hearing so much about AI and it's evolving so quickly, and data is like, the privacy aspect, all those things. Like, can you speak on that a little bit if you can? Because I'm just kind of curious how that works.
What AI allows for you to do, and I think that, and I say this a lot now, AI is going to become a ubiquitous term for a lot of things, and it just is. It's just like saying, we use the internet. Oh, no kidding, and then 30 years ago, we used the phones to do this. Or what? No kidding, right? It's just an inherent part of your life. But for right now, it works for people to understand that it can do these types of things.
Right.
For example, a minute ago, I don't have to, in the old days, I had to go and have my association management tool have deep data on your individual company, what products you have, why you're in the association market, how many employees, what size, blah, 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 blah. You had all this stuff in your AMS system. You're trying to keep track of that company, and then it would flow, and you'd have two companies merge, and blah, 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 blah. Well, AI now allows for me to go out and crawl your company and gather everything about that company. I can know your job. I can go find out about your job inside the company, what that role really means, and then use that same, create a profile of that, and use that same thing to go out and search the rest of the attendees of the show or prospects that I want to come to the show and say, these profiles are people that need to come to the show, and then go actively market to them. Or if they're already a part of the event, actively create environments for those people to work together and know each other. That's the difference. In the past, we did know it, but you had to ask for it. People had to submit it, had to type it in, had to check the boxes, and then keep that up to date. It may be out of date from the day you became a member of the association. That was 10 years ago. Well, my company's evolved a lot in 10 years, but the association may not know that because I filled out my association membership then, and now I'm this kind of company. And how do I know that? Well, AI allows for me to crawl a lot of data in a very, very short amount of time, instantaneously almost, and pull that information together against my secret sauce, which is my attendance list and my prospect data, and go and find more of those to get me either more audience or get me similar audience, or refine it down to the people that are really important for this particular event that I'm holding.
Wow. Okay. So is this more of a thing now? Because I don't think I've seen this particular use of it where I've been going. So I'm curious, is this looking for a way to add some swagger to your meeting? Hold it in Dallas. You'll find 20 plus diverse neighborhoods bustling with entertainment, art, and chef's kiss worthy food. Not to mention the world's best icebreaker, the famous Margarita Mile. Whether it's a Michelin Guide recognized chef's table for 10 or seats at a big game for 1,000, Dallas is a playground for networking, team bonding, and after the meeting memorable moments. At its heart, you'll find a vibrant, walkable arts district voted #1 in America. Drop into downtown's historic Deep Ellum neighborhood for a show, or take the team and the energy to the next level atop of Uptown's stylish rooftops. Get the creative juices flowing in the colorful Bishop Arts District or any of the lower Greensville trendy hotspots. Want to energize your attendees with just the right amount of that legendary Dallas swagger? Start planning your meeting at visitdallas.com. And now, back to our show.
Yeah, I think we're on the front end of this process, right? South by Southwest just happened in Austin last week and before, and they were doing that in a few places pretty well because they have so many dissimilar places. There's no convention center down there right now. I don't know if you know that, but they're all they actually has businesses to move out of their place, and they use those spaces. And so, why would I know as an attendee to go into that space versus this one? They did a good job of showing you kind of, hey, this is what's really going over here. That's kind of tied to who you are, or at least what we know of who you are. And so I think that it is evolving and moving quickly into our space in a hurry. We as a supplier in that space sometimes are asked to pull that kind of thing together, and we push that out as a new opportunity to grow the audience. And I always, some people have the thought that a bigger event is always better. Okay, depends on the event, but
sometimes
once again, if I don't have the right people for the right audience in the building, I haven't really done anything to improve the event. I've just made more people in the event. And so I really want to make sure that we're having the right types of people at the right time.
Right.
And that's really where AI can help you take very dissimilar types of data. You have exhibitors that have customer data they may supply to you. That's great. They always give it to you in some random format, right? Their Excel spreadsheet, they're dumped from their Salesforce, they're dumped from somewhere. And now, in the old days, it took a lot of work to try to amalgamate all that information into one thing. AI does that really well, really, really well. So we can take the similar database sets and push them together quickly to then allow for better marketing, better opportunity, better communication. People are going to require, not just expect, require hyper-personalization going forward. Stop asking me the same stuff over and over again. You see it right now online. You look at, when you go to buying online now, I mean, shop.com and other places have tried to smooth out that process. You have to put in your name, your address, and your credit card, blah, 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 again and again and again and again. It just pops up and goes, oh, you can buy from this store, right? They've taken that barrier away. And in our job in events is to take those barriers away and make it super easy for them to register and get to the event and grab the ROI they need.
Are you seeing areas that you feel like are lacking and that where events can be better using this in terms of like, making the people feel like they're more engaged? I'm assuming there are areas where this is like not as, well done. So in your experience, or at least currently in the landscape of things, is there areas where you think that this can
needs to accelerate,
be done better? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think in general, in the association marketplace, associations tend to be a little bit risk adverse and methodical. Mm-hmm. Which is good in certain places. With association management systems and tools and interactions with their audiences, I think there can be a lot more personalization of that and things of that sort instead of a generic newsletter, maybe a newsletter focused on things that I care about, as an example. And it's so easy now to create newsletters, of data for a specific audience, whereas in the past, you'd have somebody kind of go and pull it together and da-da-da-da-da. I can do that a lot easier today. So I think that's an area that I think needs to be moved forward where another good example, this is a theory I have, I don't know if it's true or not, but we're all working on theories these days.
Yeah.
80s, 90s, and early 2000s, associations were, in general, a pretty high component of somebody entering in their career. They join an association, they join a membership in something that was always a big part of their life. It just, I'm now a part of the ABC Association, get my certifications, accreditations, blah, blah, blah. And then it started to wane in the mid 2000s as the internet became so available and content became so available and things of that sort that the value proposition became lower for the younger new people entering the market. Why do I need to join the association? That's for the old people in the marketplace, not me. I don't need that. I know how to go and get my education off the internet. I know how to go get content without paying for it.
Yeah.
I think all of a sudden going to swing backwards because as the new individuals are coming into the workforce, the workforce dynamics are going to start changing really rapidly with regard to how AI is going to change especially the entry-level workforce coming in. The association is a place that I can get a community. I can go become part of something that is a part of my community and does give me peer access and allows for face-to-face interactions when so much is starting to and will accelerate rapidly into being happening behind the veil of a computer or with your AI agents and other things. And so the associations are going to play a vital role and events are going to play a vital role in providing that moment of truth, that moment of my ability to look you in the eye and feel that I can trust and believe who you are. I don't have to think, is that even a real person? Is that AI?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that real or is that a lie? But if I'm in the room with you and you're looking at you, I can feel that's a good thing and I can learn from you. I can buy from you. I can close deals. That's a big difference that's going forward. I think associations need to start to embrace a lot more of the technological capabilities that are out there today to make content very personal to the individuals that are receiving that content and to make reduce all friction for them to get access to the great resources that they have.
So when we talk about making things more like creating content for people that make them feel more seen in the content, how does the data work with that though? Because obviously you're looking at who maybe you're friends with or what you like or based on what survey you filled out. But overall, how does that really look? Like when you have a big group of people, obviously, it might be always not as easy to do that. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not the expert here. But at the same time, I'm curious, how does it actually work? Because that's a lot of information and it's a lot of people. And how do you really go out of your way to make people feel like they're seen in this content? Obviously, because, it's, like I said, a lot of information, a lot of people, but how does that work?
Good example for an event. Last year you had, 2,000 people come. I know exactly who those 2,000 people are. We have a database of them. I know their name, their company name, their email address, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I should absolutely go out and balance that entire thing again, let AI go and create a little profile of that 2,000 people. Give me my top 3 profiles, whatever they are. And it will determine that, okay, most of your people are doctors that are over 50, that work at, practitioners that are more than 7 people, and hospital administrators who do these things is another profile, and blah, 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 right? Okay, great. Now I've got these 3 main audiences I go, now, hey, AI, take these 3 profiles and go and look across my entire association management system or my entire CRM if I'm a company and see who else fits the same type of profile that's in my database. It didn't go to my event last year as part of this 2,000 that I gave you before. Boom, bang, boom. Doesn't matter moments. Here are 12,000 people that did, 5,000 in this group, 5,000 in this group, and 2,000 in that group. Now create a specific welcome note and introduction and invitation for that group. Hey, as an administrator in a hospital, we know it's important. The top 3 things that we've determined are these 3 things that are important to you. We've brought in the top 5 speakers in this marketplace. These 5, go look at your speaker database, pull those in, that same invitation/newsletter, send that to Sean, who missed that criteria, and say, hey, Sean, we missed you last year at the event. We'd love to have you here. We had 3 of your peers here, 5 of your peers, 20 of your peers here last year. Don't give them names. That's private. Just 3 or 5 of your peers or whatever. Tell them hospital names, hospital A, B, and C. That's not private. And then say, we've got this kind of content for you. And these speakers, as a matter of fact, 2 of these speakers are people that you're highly involved with because you saw your LinkedIn stuff or whatever. You can crawl the entire internet and your entire database as you have as your private information and amalgamate that information in a way in which you can then use your human touch to say, now, what would I do? What would I do if I knew all this about this group? Would I give them a letter that invites them into my event or my home in a way that really spoke to them? There's absolutely zero friction to doing that today.
Okay. So then what's the ultimate ROI or the ROE on that? Because obviously that's a great system and it sounds insane to me, honestly, that you guys can do all that. What's the ultimate result of that? What do event planners get out of this that will help them now and later?
Well, I think that you get a couple things. You get a higher engagement level. That's a big deal. Engagement measurements are super important, especially right now. It's one of the top measurement criteria for an event. What was my engagement at the event? So engagement is did people interact together? Were they actively there? Did they wander out of the meeting in the day? Did they stay for 3 days? Did they leave after day 1? Blah, 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 blah. And so you want that engagement index to go up based on the fact that you gave them content that was really important to them at the time. You gave them opportunities to be around other people who are their peers. You introduced them to people that are also in their marketplace, and you gave them products and services on your sponsors, exhibitors that were valuable to them. And that's going to show up in your engagement index right off the bat. So that's one measurement criteria for organizers and event planners to use. Did my engagement index go up because I did all these things at the front end and at the show? And then don't forget that you need to wrap the event up for the person and give them back. Hey, here are all the people you spoke to as exhibitors, if you had exhibitors in the show. Here are the topics that you went to. There's a link to the meeting notes for that particular event. They were there. And by the way, the camera took 5 pictures of you, and here's cool pictures of you at the show as well that you can post on your own LinkedIn or your Facebook or whatever, Instagram or whatever you're using, right? To give them a reward, something they want. I don't know if they want to build their own personal brand on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, but here's the things you can do to get there. If they go up to the cameras that are there and we do this events now, you can go up and take your picture with them or whatever and scan the QR code and your face, and it will find every picture taken of the entire event that has your face in it, and then send them to you. And we like putting that in the post-event wrap-up. Here's a link. Here's 1 or 2 pictures. We thought it let AI curate, and here's a link to all of them that have you in them. Go and see them, and you can see yourself. People love the pictures of stuff like that. They love to see the notes and content. Not all the content. I want the notes, so I can go and get my key facts out of there. And if they took notes in the mobile app, bring those into that same area for them. Here's your notes for it. Here's the entire summary of the content you were at, the notes you put into the mobile app that they did or wherever they did it at, and pull it together in a way in which I could have a spot to get it. The other thing you want is them not to have to remember where and what they saw that content at. So one of the hardest things you do, if you go to multiple events in a year, I can't remember. I saw this great speaker that talked about this, and I just can't remember which was that at ABC event, XYZ event, 1, 2, 3. Where was that at? Okay. And by giving these summaries, we can allow for them to use their own internal tools or AI like Copilot. If you use Copilot on and just say, I was at an event, talked about these topics, go find it. And that way, all those notes were there and it will find it and bring it back to you in a way in which you can get there. The systems should be able to give you access to what you've done. It's our job as organizers to make the experience good, give them good return while they're on site, and then remind them how all that went together to give them a summary post de facto of what went on there. So that helps to tie it all together.
Yeah. I guess my next question is for you is how can this be used to like keep people engaged throughout the year? Because obviously, if you have a thing that's every year, and you want folks to like still be, engaged somehow, how can that be used to help kind of create that like
360 event kind of thing?
Just so like, like they're always engaged, like they're, whether it's through apps, whether it's through LinkedIn, whether it's through their website.
Yeah, I think the walled gardens create this problem, in my opinion. I call them walled gardens because there's great stuff behind the wall, but you got to remember where the wall's at and the key to it, and to go through the door and then see all the great stuff in the garden. That could be,
right.
Hey, I'm a member of Association A, and if I go to them, they've got a learning management system that has that data in it. I need to go through that garden and that wall. I got to remember my membership number, my login, my link, and go through that garden and go
Those
in there
and
grab the great
always
stuff.
Long.
And I got to remember all the other. I had a mobile app for that show. I got to go to that one. I got to this one.
Right.
That onus right there is what we've got to remove in the next 18 months. It's not there yet. But when we feel comfortable with the agents, and so just an AI agents, it's just agents. You're going to have a personal agent. I already have several that I use, but you're going to have a personal agent in the next 18 months. You are personal. An example of that would be if I gave that agent, I remember these 5 things, they go to these events, and every time you go to something, it knows because it's working with you hand in hand. That it has and knows beyond that wall garden. So now I'm going to ask my agent that information and keep my community going and say, hey, I really want to interact with that community that we talked about, blah, blah, blah. And instead of remembering which walled garden that's in, it's just going to go and go pull it from there and then interact with the people that are already in that garden as well and put you back in that community without you having to think, I got to remember the garden, I got to remember the password, I got to remember to go in, I got to do this, got to do that, and blah, blah, blah. And if they're having conversations in that area that are germane to me, my agent's going to amalgamate those and be alerting me to what's going on. I can go back in there and interact with it. That's going to be the important next step, and it's coming rapidly here. Where people are going to see it first is things like travel. You're going to have an agent that's going to be searching for the best rates and know you're a member of Marriott or Hyatt or Hilton. They're going to know you fly America. They know you live in Dallas. It's going to know those things. Those are just generic things it knows. And searching for your best deals. Like, I want to go to Hawaii at some point in the next 4 months. I got opportunities, and it's just going to be out there paying it away to see what it can get you. Hey, I got a great deal below this threshold to send you to Hawaii, and so forth and so on. And you're going to trust it to do that because it's not that big a deal to book that. When you say book it, it can go do that. Yeah. But think about that with regard to events. Now we set up on every event, we set up a page that says how to come to the event. Here's the hotel we're at. Here you've got a flight discount, blah, blah, blah. All we're going to do is tell the agent, our travel agent guy, that I'm going to this event. It's going to go find that information on that website and grab that hotel, get your membership number, book that hotel for you on those dates, and be ready for you to take a flight. Bam. That is on the way very rapidly.
So basically, if what I'm hearing you say is correct, the tech will be so advanced at this point that it will just essentially be automatic. You won't think about it anymore. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I think that you're going to basically just interacting with your tech agents that are going to have the access to all the things that you've done in the past or throughout that year or throughout the years without you having to remember and recall them all. Like right now, I go into my email, I go look it up, I go find something, oh, that was that. And I go back to somewhere else, I go to the actual tool, I log into that one, go behind the walled garden and go, okay, now I want to talk about what's going on here. And I had to take 30 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe 2 different days, or give up and say, I'll come back to it tomorrow when I have time, or I'm thinking about it again. In reality, I need to be able to have something to deal with that administrative stuff. And I want to get to the part that's important to me, which is I want to talk to Emily. I want to see what's going on in this world here in smart meetings and see how we can, what's happening in that community right now. What are people talking about? So when I go talk about another thing, I'm in tune with what's happening.
Wow. Well, I appreciate the look into the near future.
Very near future. Not that far away. Not a golden horizon, if you would. This is rapidly approaching. That's
fascinating. I'm intrigued because it seems like by that point, the data will just work for you without having to prompt it. Is kind of what you.
I think that's true. That's true. I think you're going to really interesting. More people are going to understand how to prompt is probably the word you are going to be doing. You are going to be prompting it. Prompting meaning different word. I think what you meant there. Mm-hmm. But you're going to be writing a prompt, and the people that can write the prompt in the right way are really going to be the people that win the races. It's not everybody's equally smart now, but how I access that intelligence to accommodate for a need that I understand in my marketplace or my business or whatever is the difference. And that's where things are going to be better. But there are going to be agents that are written for us all that are going to be doing these, menial tasks that we don't need to be doing administratively for ourselves to give us more time to be thinking about the real strategic things that we want to do.
Right. Wow. Well, this has been really interesting for me. I could probably go longer with you just because this is just so fascinating. And this is not the space where I know all the things. So this is really helpful for me in general. But is there anything that we didn't talk about that?
I think the only thing I see is happening is there's a lot more events happening at a smaller level that weren't available in the past. And this has been an interesting trend change. What it really, I think, is a stem of is the work from home hybrid environment where now companies are saying, hey, let's get together as a team, my manager team, my director team, whatever that looks like. But whenever it goes past about 50 people, maybe 100, they're like, oh man, we're not meeting planners. We need help. And they're either looking to a destination management kind of group in that city, or they're looking to somebody like an AI or the places to go, hey, we need to put together 200 people, for 3 days. We got a bunch of content. We're going to do it at our headquarters, but we want to go out. We want to do these things. I want to have cool things come in. They treat it like a mini event. And that's rapidly growing area because every company that has these remote workforces now is calling them in at various times, and they're happening really fast. That's the other thing is that they'll call us and say, hey, we have a meeting and we want to do it in 6 weeks or 3 weeks. Can you get us set up?
Wow.
Good. Okay. Let's work on it. So I think for us, the difficulty is having the right amount of, available talent to on standby for that in 3 weeks. It isn't already assigned, right? That's the tougher thing than the fact they want to do it in 6 weeks or 3 weeks. The other part is that, finding meeting space is getting harder and harder from time to time. So,
yes.
Yeah. The more internal meetings is what I would call them. Yeah.
Oh, so they're not like huge. They're smaller meetings, or
the biggest I've seen is like
range?
400. So a big company like a Google.
Okay, that's still pretty big in my opinion.
Director over a group might be 300 or 400 people, right? And they say, I want to get my team together back at headquarters, or let's get our team together who's in 5 different locations plus 50% of our work from home. I want them all to come together. Let's talk about strategy for the year. Let's do a wrap up on the year. Let's do a holiday gathering. Let's do a mid-year meeting.
Right.
Let's do a sales team, which is 200 people, but 400 people. It's kind of that range. Once it gets above that, it starts getting a little bit different because you've got a lot more items coming into play. But yeah, really regularly, really regularly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have not heard that. That is fascinating and scary at the same time. I feel for everyone who's trying to put that 6-week event together. I hope they have an amazing team on hand. That's all I got to say about that.
It is tough. You got to be ready.
Thank you so much, Sean. I deeply appreciate all this so much.
A small star radio, small star radio. Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. A small star radio, small star radio. Ready, set, here we go with another episode. Watch as we learn and grow. Starting smart is the action we design. Meeting of the minds, how to better use our time. Leading, interceding, proceeding, they divine. It's believing, they conceding, so it goes on more.
You've been listening to Smart Start Radio, a Smart Meetings production. Interested in being our next guest? Connect with us at editor@smartmeetings.com.